YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today, guys, we're gonna talk about the decks that you can use for the Chronicles event or the Theme Chronicles event. Now, this is gonna be on the 17th. This is typically just a rinse and recycle for the events for Master Duel, and it's usually been like this for like almost 2 years now, I think. Yeah, but this is like the second time for the Theme Chronicles, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me down below in the comment section. For the rewards list here, I counted all the gems. We'll accumulate around 1,900, excluding the icons and of course the legacy pack tickets. So yeah, you'll accumulate around 1,900 without of course the missions, the gems that you'll get from the missions during this event. So typically the last time that we had amounted to around 3,300, if I'm not mistaken, but usually that's for the whole duration of the event. But anyways, we're not talking about the rewards. We're talking about the 5 decks that you can use for the event. And yes, so let's start. So I have some 5 recommendations. So without further ado, let's go for our first deck. Alrighty, so here we are with our first deck, and we have here Plunder Patrol. So the thing about this deck is, this is one of the fun decks that I've seen people use in most of the events. I haven't played this deck, to be honest with you. Maybe I tested this one out in YGO Omega, I'm not sure, but I can't remember. But yeah, I've never totally ran this one in ranked. Mainly because the field spell is UR and the Blackbeard is UR. If you want to use this one in the event, I think the highest rarity that is in the main deck is the Plunder Patrol Shipyard. The rest is going to be like rares and commons, so it's easy enough to use for the event. As long as you have the copies of the Shipyard, I think that's really good. For the extra deck, your only UR card is the Blackbeard. You can run 2 copies of this. If you only have 2 copies, that will be the same. And the rest of the extra deck monsters are going to be SRs. So it's easy enough to craft if you have more SR shards that you can use. But basically, we're just running 3 of each because I don't want to run other cards. You can go for another Nightmare monster like the Phoenix or the Cerberus here by removing a copy of the Bran. But yeah, since we're just using Plunder Patrol here, maybe just settle with a copy of the Plunder Patrol monsters. Give or take, it's just your choice, man. Yeah, we also have board breakers in our main deck: Lightning Storm, Harpies for the Duster, Triple Tactics Talent, and of course Evenly Match. So the typical stuff that you'll use for a deck, of course. But before we go furthermore into the deck list, just a quick reminder, if you want the deck list with all of the 5 decks that I'm going to showcase today, it is in the comment section below. I always put my deck list in the comment section. I always pin that one for you guys, so check that one out. But yeah, going back to the Plunder Patrol, this is kind of solid to use for the event. Yeah, it's really nice to actually see this one in the event as well. But yeah, who knows? That's just one recommendation. So with that is Plunder Patrol. Let's go towards our second deck. Okay, doke. So for our second deck, we have here Weather Painter. So Weather Painter is, or its strategy is based on trap cards or face-up trap cards and spell cards that will place effects on the Weather Painter monsters on the field. They're pretty good if you have also floodgates like Skill Drain and a copy of Shifter. But the problem here is you can't access those cards. But we have the second best, of course, for other than the Shifter, which is the Dimension Fissure. So you can still use this one. It's a rare copy. You can go for 3 copies. We are not running Nibiru here, of course, because majority of the time I want to see Weather Painter cards. We are only limited with Prosperity, so that's really a bummer. You can't dig out more Weather Painter cards. If they have like a board breaker like Harpies for the Duster, then you are done for. But I think so far so good. This map can actually search your cards out, especially for the Snow is 0 attack. And then board breakers like Evenly Match, Lightning Storm are still going to be used for this deck. Also, extra deck monsters, the only UR cards are the Rainbow and the Moonbow. You can go with 2 copies of each. I think that will still work for a Weather Painter. Honestly, I've just seen some replays with the Weather Painter. I haven't actually used them. Don't take my word for it. If you like Weather Painter, this is one of the decks that you can use for the event as well. Yeah, that is Weather Painter for you guys. Let's move towards our third deck. Alright, so here we are with our third deck, and that is the Herald. A couple of things that I want to talk to is we don't actually use hand traps here like Ash Blossom and Maxi. You can though, but it's preferred to use or to see more fairy monsters in this deck because that would be really good with the Herald of Perfection for its Omni Negate on spell and trap and monster effects. So it's insanely good to have this one card on the field and then negate everything else. But yeah, that's basically it. Most of your cards just send cards to the graveyard, like the Herald of the Arclight from the Diviner. That allows you to garner cards as well, like any ritual monsters, which is the Perfection, and a copy of your Dawn of the Herald. So that's one thing there. Also, Cyber Angel Ben 10 is on 3 copies, so that's really insane. Another tech card that you can use is the Extra Foolish Burial, which halves your life points just to send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, which is you have only like really good or 4 cards that are really good to be sent to the graveyard. By the way, we are running Celine here because we are running Effect Veiler. You can remove Celine because this is a UR and just add like 1 copy of Pure Light, or basically if you want to run 15 cards in your extra deck, just go 2 copies of Mirage Lights and Pure Lights. Doesn't really matter at this point on. Your main purpose here is the Perfection in the field and then summon your monsters to the field. So yeah, whatever you can summon to the field basically. But anywho, that is Herald. Not really that formidable, but the Perfection is just really annoying. That's what I can say for this deck. But anyways, that's Herald. Let's go towards our 4th deck. Alright, so for our 4th deck, we have here, well, I think Crusadia has been like the go-to deck in most of the events last 2023. So with the Theme Chronicles event, Crusadia is still accessible. The only downside for this deck is Kaiju's Lava Golem Spear modes. I think Spear modes is unaccessible. I'll check that one later after this video, or after this recording, I would say. But yeah, so far Kaiju's, even the Santa Claus is not accessible. So there's gonna be like a slight problem with your OTK with regards to Crusadias, but overall, if your opponent has a monster in the field, you can just use that monster as giving more attack power to Equimax, which is kind of good though. Majority of the cards for the Crusadias are lower than SR, so that's really good. I think the only UR that you'll have for this deck is in your extra deck, which is a copy of Avermax. And even the Equimax is on SR, so it's easy enough. What else? Yeah, I think that's basically it. Majority of the cards are SRs, or lower than SRs, I would say. Main deck card, also really good tech card, is the Ferment Skipper. You can just reveal 1 link monster in your extra deck because you can treat this card as a link material with the same name, type, or attribute. So, really good card as well for Crusadia. So that is Crusadia. We have Board Breakers, we have Parallel Exceed for increasing more attack to the Equimax. Charmers are really good as well, other than the Nightmare Monsters. And reminder as well, again, if you want to know the names of the cards that I am showcasing here in this video, it is pinned in the comment section below, so always check that one out. So with that, that is Crusadia. Let's move to our 5th and final deck. Okie dokie, so here we are with our 5th and final deck, which is Orcus. So typically I just got this one online. I never thought that Orcus is on full power for this event. I think I might try this one out. So the thing about this is this version has 3 copies of Orcus Nightmare. I usually run 2 copies only, but since we're running with Dark Grepher, that you can spell summon to the field by discarding 1 level 5 or higher. So if ever you have a copy of Nightmare plus the Dark Grepher, you can just spell summon the Grepher and then dump another Dark Monster to the graveyard. Most of your Orcus cards have floating effects that are really good. I think the only UR card for the Orcus in the main deck is a copy of Girsu. Other than that, I think they are all lower than SRs. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So, oh yeah, extra deck, basically SRs for the Galatea. You can run 2 copies of Galatea, of course. The Girsu is kinda necessary on 2 copies, but you can run, I think, on 1 copy. You can run 1 copy of this if you are scarce in UR. Girsu and a copy of Topologic, but I don't know what to add in this 15 card for the extra deck. Also, the Evil Swarm Exiton Knight can be replaced with another SR or lower. It's really up to you. Maybe you'll go for a second copy of Dugaris the Timeless, or basically another copy of Blade Master here. So this is kind of good as well. Topologic is also a UR. You can go with the typical one, which is the Bumper Dragon. The second copy for that is kind of okay though. But yeah, The Nightmare Monsters are another good choice. So the Phoenix, the Cerberus, you can replace the other URs in your extra deck, and then you'll basically have a playable deck that is not really that expensive for the event. Really good deck, really solid deck that you can use for the event. But anyways, that is all the deck list that I can showcase to you guys for the event. Or basically recommendations for the event. So hope you enjoy this kind of content. Like and subscribe for more contents like this, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye and good luck.